What is going on, Trash Talkers? We are back with another episode for you. Today, we're going to talk about Nick Caserio's comments on Deshaun Watson saying he has, quote, zero interest to move the all-star quarterback. We're going to take a deep dive into everything that he had to say and more and decide whether or not Deshaun Watson is going to be moved. All that and much more coming your way right now! All right, Nick. Well, Nick Caserio said it, right?
Oh, he said something.
Deshaun Watson's not getting moved. I guess
it's over.
We've all been. That's it, right?
Pack up, go home. Is this it?
I think so.
This is it.
I guess so. I mean, Nick Caserio, judge, jury, and executioner, apparently.
Yeah.
Listen, the man took off the Houston Texans from all of his social media. You think you're really going to try to figure this thing out? He is going to play nice so it looks good for other teams. He's going to be just like James Harden. And you know what? Just like James Harden, he's probably going to come to camp out of shape. I don't know if any of you have seen the meme, but I sure have. It says, Deshaun Watson coming to camp in a few months to force a trade and then he looks like Fat Albert. Honestly, wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. But nonetheless, I believe that they will end up moving on from Deshaun Watson. And Nick, I'll let you get started. But honestly, you know, what do you think about Nick Caserio, his thoughts here, and you know what's going to happen?
I don't believe this at all. This is such BS in every way. Like, okay, let's look at it. I look at it as the Houston Rockets with James Harden. They said, all right, we're going to try to trade you, but no one was willing to trade us what we wanted for you. All right, we'll hold on to you. We'll let you play a couple games. And then as teams start to realize, hey, they're actually going to hold on to him, we're going to have to pay the ultimate price to get James Harden. We're going to do that. Nick Caserio is saying, hey, let's do the same thing. All right, Deshaun Watson is not on the block. All right, we're going to hold on to him, bring him in. It might even go into the season, but a team's going to eventually come to us and trade for him, and they're going to give us exactly what we're looking for. Now, I don't think it's going to make it to the season. I think that this deal has to get done before the draft because a lot of what's going to be offered in the trade package is draft picks. That's what's most valuable to the Houston Texans, something they don't have a lot of. So I think that if a deal doesn't get done by draft time, then I'll start to believe what Nick Caserio has to say. Right now, this is a bunch of malarkey. This isn't true at all. He's just putting this out there to get teams to grab onto the bait. Deshaun Watson is still 100% a guy on the trade market, a guy that teams should be pursuing, and it's going to end up going to the highest bidder, but we're probably not going to see him moved until closer to the draft.
Right. And, you know, if you guys want to see what teams make a good fit, make sure to check out that video. That'll be in the description down below. But, you know, just so you guys understand where Nick Caserio is coming from, this is his quote that I have ready. Organizationally, I just want to reiterate our commitment to Deshaun Watson. Caserio said Friday during a press conference. He's had a great impact on this organization, a great impact on a lot of people, and a great impact on this team. We look forward to the opportunity to spend more time with him here this spring once we get started. And, you know, we have zero interest in trading the player. We have a great plan, a great vision for him and this team and his role on our team. We look forward to the opportunity to spend more time with him here this spring. Now, it was a big reason why Nick Caserio took this job was because of Deshaun Watson. So I have to imagine that there's a small part of Caserio that's a little angry and pissed off that Watson wants out because he's here. This is a main reason why Caserio took this job, knowing that he was going to have a top 10 quarterback at the helm that he could build around. And now that Deshaun Watson wants out because he's here, it's got to strike a chord with him. And I just can't imagine that, you know, Caserio's going to do anything that Watson wants. He's just going to say, you know what, you signed a contract extension. You're here for the next 6 years. So even if you don't like it and you hold out, that's fine. but you're going to ruin your trade potential and you're going to ruin this organization. Or we can force a situation where you're going to work here. You don't have to necessarily like it, but you sign that contract and you're going to have to fulfill it here in Houston.
I mean, I don't know what Nick Caserio is thinking, because even if Deshaun Watson plays, they're not getting any better than last place. They're going to be the number one overall pick in the 2022 draft. And they're going to be looking for a quarterback, because the conversation would come up again. Deshaun Watson wants to get traded. Now you're going to actually have to move him. I just don't, this is what Nick Caserio is trying to do. Look, I guess I commend him for his actions, but in the end, it's going to blow up in his face, because look at it this way. If you have Deshaun Watson with the team they have now, where are you getting? Nowhere. But if you trade Deshaun Watson to, say, the Jets for the number 2 pick, for the Seahawks pick, which is an early 20s pick, on top of a second and another first potentially, I mean, you could get so much. You can get Zach Wilson or Justin Fields, and then another defensive weapon or offensive weapon, and then build for the future with another future pick. I mean, there's so much you can grab from Deshaun Watson alone. This would be stupid for them not to move him.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think they have to move Deshaun Watson at some point. I just believe that Nick Caserio, he is one to do things against the grain. He does, he beats to his own drummer essentially. And listen, if there's anybody in the NFL besides Bill Belichick who is willing to stand their ground with a player and not move on from them, it's Nick Caserio. He is somebody who will stand his ground, and you know what? Maybe the organization takes a nosedive with it, but at the end of the day, Deshaun Watson signed that contract extension. He put himself in this position. He should have waited, knowing that this might not be the position for him. And now with the acquisition of David Culley at head coach, it's going to be a very, very interesting ride here. I can't imagine that Deshaun Watson is any bit thrilled. I can't imagine Nick Caserio's all that thrilled. I really don't.
I mean,
I even apologized to one of my Jets friends this week and said, I used to call you guys the most dysfunctional organization in all of sports. I think it's now the Houston Texans. I think they have sufficiently grabbed that role.
Exactly. I mean, David Culley, the guy who was calling passing plays for the Baltimore Ravens last year, please tell me, how did Lamar Jackson look passing the ball?
I mean, everybody knows how he looked, but I'll tell you what, they ranked 32nd in passing.
I mean, that passing attack was horrible. You just ran streaks down the field. There was nothing special about that passing attack. It was Lamar Jackson flush out of the pocket, try to make something with it, or just run with your feet. Like, there's nothing else that's going to change with Deshaun Watson, because he is another mobile quarterback. Yes, he's more accurate, but it's going to be the same type of play calls. Send everybody down the field and hope for the best.
I just don't understand the Culley hiring when you have Bieniemy, when you have Dayball, or even if you go defensive and say Leslie Frazier and we'll get you an OC that knows what they're doing. None of this makes sense to me. I just
They would have been better off sticking with Bill O'Brien. I'm willing to make that. I'm willing to say that. Bill O'Brien is better than Dave Culley.
You might not be wrong. Listen, I don't think Bill O'Brien was a bad coach. I think what killed him was Bill O'Brien, the GM, and we've talked about that in previous videos. But I think that Bill O'Brien as a coach was actually pretty decent. I mean, he struggled getting them over the hump, but I think a lot of that had to do with his decision making as a GM and not getting the right pieces in there. Overall, I think that Deshaun Watson, he's seen the Bill O'Brien stage. Now he's got Nick Caserio and David Culley. He sees the writing on the wall. This is why he wants out. I just think that Nick Caserio is a little too pie in the sky right now to say that there's zero interest in trading him.
I feel the pain of the Houston Texans fan base. I'm sorry that you're going to have to go through this for the foreseeable future. It's not going to be a quick rebuild. It's not going to be, I mean, you might even say it's not even a slow rebuild. This might be the Jets 2.0, another 20, 40-year rebuild in the making, because there is no direction this team is headed in. They're just grabbing anything they can and nothing is sticking.
Yeah, it's painful to watch, and honestly, maybe we should make shirts. Pain is all we know, Houston Texans edition. Um, but I think that'll do it all for now. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell if you're not subscribed. We go live every single day. That'll be all for now. Peace and love.